Yeah, guys, a very good evening to all of you. Am I audible to everyone? Guys, am I audible to everyone? Okay. So fine, let's start with the session. Yeah, guys, before starting, with today's session and let's say the today, with today's report. Please tell me, guys, that if you practice something, okay, so I have added the new assignment as well in the same drive with the week two assessment or the assignment. So, yeah, guys, tell me if there is any like a question or like a doubt you guys have regarding like anything, if you practice something, if you face any difficulty to create any topic or to actually to create any decks or maybe the chart or anything. Okay, so fine, guys. Now, this week we are going to talk about like in detail. We are going to talk about one new data set. So I'm going to take, guys, again a real life example, a real world like a data set based on the cells. More relatively, guys, it is about like it is very much similar to even the e-commerce data set, or like you can say the guys the retail industry. And even I can even try to connect, guys, with my organization as well, or any e-learning organization who are actually selling their products, and then trying to understand that what kind of progress they have done so far, and let's say that what may be the progress they can actually make in a future. Okay, so this this is a very important topic. Okay, so I'm not going to guys talk about let's say the um, I'm not going to talk about, guys, a very basic analysis, okay, because for the basic analysis, guys, we have already in the very first two or three sessions, we have created few charts on the same retail like a data. But this is actually, guys, more about what kind of like a problem people are actually facing, or let's say the real data analyst guys are actually facing in the with into the retail industry, and then what kind of a steps or what kind of a measures they are actually trying to take to come from that particular situation. Okay, so it is actually guys the task or the new task or the new problem business problem I'm going to discuss in this last week, guys. It is actually about the customer segmentation. Now, guys, customer segmentation is one of the very, really, really important, like a topic, or you can say a really important, you can say the tool, guys, in this like a new, or you can see the modern like era, because of this competitive world. It is really important, guys, to understand the customer segmentation thing. Okay, Rohit, you recently joined. Rohit, you text me something, then you deleted. I hope that your problem gets solved. Rohit, I'm not able to hear you. Okay, so yeah, guys. So customer segmentation is really important, guys, in this competitive, like modern competitive world, because analyzing your customer and then let's say, guys, making the strategy by after understanding your customer, guys, is really important. Okay, that actually helps you to retain more customer. That actually helps you to gain more profit. That actually helps you to to do the upselling. Okay, that actually helps you to for revenue optimization and everything, guys. Even you can make a better like a plan, you can make a better sales and better profit by spending, let's say, a less money on the on to let's say by spending less money on the marketing, or by spending less money on to the ads. Okay, so that is what, guys, a kind of a flexibility the customer segmentation are actually help like going to give us. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a data set, and as I told you that now we are since I told you that, okay, we are going to deal with some real world data. So this data set, guys, doesn't contain just one sheet. It actually contains multiple sheet over here. Okay, so I think, guys, I hope that definitely the all the participants have joined who are definitely engaged with the session throughout till the end. So I just sharing, guys, the link in the chat box. Just try to download the data set from there. And meanwhile, I'm also sharing my screen to show you the data set over here. Okay, so this is the data set, guys, we have. It's a retail industry data set. And if you can look into this data set, guys, so you can see that this data set now doesn't contain just one or two sheet. So this is what happened, guys, in a real world data set. The real world data set, if I talk about, because we try to store, guys, these kind of a data set into the SQL, and the reason being why we are actually pushing the data set into the SQL or some database, because, guys, these files are actually a bit larger in size, and definitely they we cannot accommodate everything onto the Excel sheet. Okay, so you can see, guys, that we have this data set where the first sheet actually contain all the transactions like invoice ID, invoice date, customer ID. Then we have product ID, then we have category, then we have quantity, unit price, discount percent, total sales, sales channel, payment method, city, region, and country. Okay, so these are all the columns, guys, in the first like a sheet. Then, guys, we have a different sheet based on for a different like a purposes. Okay, so we have the customer sheet over here where the information of customers are there. So now, guys, this is like actually important in retail industry to understand who are the top performing customers, who are the VIP customer, the premium customers, who are, let's say, the most loyal customer, or maybe the frequent customers, who are the less loyal customer, or maybe the budget customer. Okay, so all these segments, guys, are really important to understand. All these fundamentals, guys, are really important to understand. And then we try to make a strategy for a different customer in a different ways. Okay, otherwise there will be if you try to run a similar strategy, or if you try to make a similar strategy for all the customer, then it doesn't make any sense. It definitely, guys, then you are going to spend maybe a lot of amount onto the ad or maybe the marketing, but you're not getting the kind of a result you want. Okay, so here we have the customer sheet, then we have the product sheet over here. So again, like if I want to understand that which category is beneficial for us, which category is, let's say, less beneficial for us. So in order to understand that, we have this product sheet. Then we have, guys, this date sheet. Again, guys, this makes a lot of importance if I want to understand what is happening, let's say, day wise, time wise, quarter wise, month wise. Okay, even the weekday or month number. Okay, so all these things are really important. And then finally, guys, we have this description of the data. Now, definitely, this is not we are going to include into our let's say the Power BI, but over here, guys, the information of the sheets are given. Okay, if I talk about this transaction sheet, so it actually contains the main sales fact table for RFM and purchasing behavior analysis. Okay, so we'll talk about, guys, what is this RFM. RFM stands for recency frequency monitoring. Now, this is one important concept, guys, in the industry, which people are using to perform this customer segmentation. Okay, and then, guys, again, in order to understand the purchase behavior, so as I told you, there may be a high value customer, there may be a budget friendly customer, there may be a loyal customer. So this is what, guys, we are trying to analyze with the help of this particular sheet, which is a transaction sheet. Okay. Then we have a customer sheet. Now in the customer sheet, guys, there's a customer demographic and location data is given. In the product sheet, guys, product and category master data is given. And finally, guys, we have a date table where calendar table for time intelligence. Okay. So definitely, guys, the first sheet is really important. So if I talk about, guys, more about this RFM. So now, guys, um, I can simply try to drag this over there. So I will not going to save it. I'm just trying to show you like what is this RFM. So RFM, guys, stands for, let's say, the recency. Then I can say frequency if you don't know about this particular term, or if you're hearing this term for the very first time. And the last one, guys, is called the monetary. Okay. Now this particular concept, guys, actually this is actually, guys, the concept which people are using even nowadays into the industry to get that customer segmentation. Okay, so if I talk about, guys, this particular thing, so this is actually about, guys, recency, frequency, and monetary. So when I say, guys, recency, so recency actually, guys, help us to understand that how recently, let's say, how recently customer, let's say, customer, I can write uh, uh, order something, order, or I can write order, or let's say buy something. Now this is what we call, guys, the recency. Now you can even try to take it into the like this. Okay, so let's say, guys, recency actually help us to understand how recently any customer buy or order something. Let's say, guys, this actually help us like the customer to understand that do they have any lost customer. Okay, so let's say if any customer buys something maybe 3 months or maybe 6 months back. Okay, so definitely, guys, then this is a panic situation for the retail industry. They're trying to understand. Then it is important, guys, that the industry should try to understand that what is that one product, or what is that one category where the customer is actually maybe very will get excited, and then they're trying to show the ad of that same category. So they're trying very hard, guys, to actually get that customer back. Okay, let's say if any customer buys something, let's say 6 or maybe a year back, then definitely, guys, it might be a possibility that that customer is actually lost. Okay, so that's not a good thing for like any retail industry. They don't want to like lose their previous customers, or you can say the premium customer. So it is important for them that if any customer giving, let's say, on a monetary value, the customer is very good from the last 1 or 2 years, then definitely they don't want to lose that customer. Okay, so this is we try to understand, guys, with the help of this particular like a thing called recency. We try to figure out that what is the how many days how many days before customer buy or order something. Okay, if customer buy or order something, let's say a year back or maybe 3 6 months back, then it's a panic situation. Similarly, guys, the second thing is frequency, which again indicates that how frequently um, how frequently any customer buy or again order something. Now this is the second thing, guys, which the company or the industry want to check. Now again, this is again, guys, really important just to figure out that who are the loyal customers. So let's say, guys, now there's nothing to do with the monetary value. There's nothing to do with the monetary value, but it is important to understand that who are our loyal customers. Okay, so let's say in a month, if any customer frequently buys something, let's say in a month, if someone making 20 orders, or if someone making like more than 15 orders, something, so definitely that they can be a loyal customer. And let's say if this number is actually continues from the last like 6 months or from the last 1 year, then definitely we can group them into loyal customer group. And for those customer, guys, definitely like offer some discount should be carry on, so that they will be connected like for a longer period of time. And finally, guys, over here we have the monetary. So if I talk about the monetary value, it means that how much sales, or let's say like you are getting from any customer. Okay, so let's say over here how much sales like get getting or let's say how much sales per order, how much sales getting for the from any customer. Okay, now this is again, guys, really important because again, it may be possible, guys, that the customer, as I told you, that maybe more frequent. Okay, it means that he's regularly trying to buy something, but it is not important, guys, that they buy something which is very costly. Okay, so now, guys, if I want to make a group for the most frequent customer, then they will actually, I will group them in a different like a group, and then we'll try to make a strategy for these frequent customer in a different way. Now, similarly, guys, the customer who are good in on a monetary term, so these customers should grouped in a different like a cluster in a different group, and we need to make a different kind of a strategies for these customers, because these customers are, we can actually call them as a VIP or the premium customers, because they are actually giving let's say a lot of sales, even though they are not more frequent, but if they are making, let's say, just 2 or 3 orders in a month, so whatever they're actually giving me more sales in comparison to let's say the person who are making, let's say, 15 orders in a month. Okay, so definitely both the persons should not be in the same group. Definitely they should be in a different group. Okay, so let's say for these frequent customer, let's say definitely if they're making 15 let's say orders in a month, but they are making, from there we are making a sale of just 5,000. It means that they're just buying a very let's say the item with a minimum price. Okay, so we can try to give a recommendation of those kind of an items. Okay, so like the items which is maybe below 1,000. Okay, so that kind of items I can try to recommend to, let's say, this customer. But if I talk about these customer, guys, so for these customer I can try to recommend them, let's say, the luxurious item, because they are the customer who actually trying to buy those luxurious items, not rather than buying those let's say the budget items. Okay, so definitely there should be a different kind of recommendation, and that is what the companies are doing nowadays. Okay, so even if you not nowadays, like from last 3 or 4 years, so if you even guys using your social media websites, you actually observe that if you anytime, guys, I'm actually, if I talk about, let's say, if I take my example, so I'm very fond of I'm very fond of like buying a new shoes. So guys, it has actually happened with me. So anytime when I visit to any social media website, be it Instagram, Twitter, or anywhere, I'm actually getting those recommendations. Okay, and a similar kind of recommendation, the kind of a shoes which I'm actually looking for on maybe any website, be it on Flipkart, be it on Amazon, be it on Myntra, be it on Agio. So on any website, if I'm looking for any particular like a kind of a shoe, so a similar kind of recommendation I start getting through my social media websites. Okay, so and guys, yeah, and definitely it even happened with you that you are getting that recommendation of a similar kind of a brand which probably you are looking for. Okay, or definitely the price range will also be in that particular like a boundary which let's say you are looking for. Okay, so that recommendation, guys, they actually make they make the entire recommendation in such a way that like this customer who are very fond of like a shoes, so they are actually giving me the recommendation more of like a shoes of a particular brand or in a particular range. And let's say if someone is let's say more finicky of maybe a mobile phones or maybe electronic devices, so they try to so for those customers they try to give the recommendation of let's say a particular item, like the electronic items, and within a particular brand and within a particular range. Okay, so this thing, guys, actually happening because into the back end the entire analysis team actually analyzes that. Okay, let's say if it because they cannot show a similar kind of a ad to all the customer, so they make a strategy for a different groups. And definitely, guys, let's say if there are billions of customers, so even it is not possible to make a strategy one strategy for one group or one person. Okay, so it is not possible, guys, to make billions of strategies. So in that case, guys, they try to group a customer. They try to bring, let's say, maybe a 10,000 or 20,000 customer in one group, and then a similar strategy they try to run on that a group of 20,000 customers, okay, who's having a similar idea, similar interest, similar thought, similar maybe brand items. Okay, so they're trying to give us they're trying to show the same promotional ad to those like customers. Okay, now all these things, guys, actually possible because of this particular. They actually done the deep analysis with this particular concept called customer segmentation. And in short, we also call it as a RFM analysis, which means recency, frequency, and monitoring. Okay, so I hope, guys, the concept of and this is a very simple concept, guys, behind the customer segmentation. There are other algorithms also working, but yeah, I hope, guys, that this basic concept, the simple concept, is clear to everyone. Yeah, any doubt, guys, to anyone? Any question, guys? Okay, then let us, guys, uh, just try to add this particular thing into the Power BI. Just try to import this file. So I hope that you already imported it. Okay, now let me also try to import it into the Power BI. And let's start, guys, creating the formula, the calculation around it, so that we can create that particular thing called customer segmentation. So I think yeah, it's a Excel workbook. So I will click on this import data from Excel. And guys, if you have already imported it, that is fine. If you have not imported it, you can just try to follow me because there are multiple sheets. So you have to import it in a similar way. Okay. You can ignore this data dictionary because data dictionary is actually about the information of different sheets. So what we can do, we can try to import it one by one. So like I can try to import customers. I can try to import date table, which is important. I can also try to import product table, and I can also try to import the transactions table. Okay, so there are 4 tables, guys, which we need to load, which we need to import, leaving just one table, which is a data dictionary, because data dictionary is actually about the information of a data set of different sheets, not containing any information. Okay. So I will click on this load. Okay, so guys, there are 4 sheets. You can click on all the 4 sheets and you can simply click on the load. It will take maybe a time of maybe 30 seconds to 1 minute because there are 4 sheets. Okay, so yeah, guys, the sheet is loaded, and that we have enough of information to create like something around it, something very interesting around it, because we have, guys, 20,000 rows. Okay, 20,000 rows, guys, is actually enough to create like definitely something really amazing, like a report around any data set. Okay. So in the transaction, guys, there are 20,000 rows, which means that we have a data of like 20,000 orders. It's great. Now, guys, I will, if you remember, guys, like every time I try to start from the table view, okay, because we try to look after like what are the informations given into the table. But this time, guys, I will not directly start from the table view. Definitely, guys, if I talk about like there are 4 sheets, but which sheet is actually more important? So definitely, guys, the transaction table is actually contain maximum of the information, because the RFM analysis, that most of the segmentation we are going to perform on that transaction table itself. So transaction table, in short, guys, contain maximum of the information of this data set, but we'll go step by step. Okay. So guys, in this table, because we have 4 sheets over here, or I can say we have 4 tables over here, we just not have one table. So first, guys, we'll try to go into the model view. Just try to click on the model view. Just try to confirm that the connections are made. Okay, because there are 4 tables, guys. and it is important that all the four tables should be connected. Okay, because guys, let's say if any table is not connected, then we are not able to, let's say, create any kind of a formula which is maybe dependent on maybe some other table which is not connected with my main table. So my main table is a transaction table, and it is important the other three tables should be connected with the transaction table. Now let's see guys that whether it is connected or not, and if it is connected, then how, like on what basis they have connected. Okay, so definitely guys, in your table, if there's one common column in across all the tables, then it will automatically get connected. You don't need to worry about it. Okay, if not, then you have to search for that common column and then try to like connect it. But over here guys, if like most of the time it will automatically connect. Now let's see that how this transaction table, let's say, connected with the customer table. Now in order to see that connection guys, that how they are connected, you can see that if you just click on the star. Okay, so this is what we call star schema. So if you click on the star, you'll see guys that how this connection has been made. So this connection has been made through the customer ID, since in the transaction table we have the customer ID, and in the customers table also we have the customer ID. So since guys that in both the sheets there is one common column, so with that common column these sheets are actually connected. Now similarly guys, on the other side there's a product table. Now if I want to see that how this is actually connected, so you can see in the product table there's a product ID, and in the transaction table also there's a product ID. So these two sheets are again connected. Now guys, one more sheet is there which is our date table. Now date table guys is actually not connected with any of this column because there is no common column over here. Okay, it means guys that if I want to like connect, let's say this table, the date table with the transaction table, you have to check like there's a date column. Okay, and there's a date column guys, you can see that the invoice date over here. Okay, so you can see guys that this table right now is actually treated this table guys is right now uh, actually present at the rightmost side, looks like the outlier, looks like the odd one out. Okay, so this is actually what happened guys, even if I sometimes try to create the table by my own. Okay, so even guys it is possible that we can try to create our own table, let's say for maybe some set, let's say for getting some set of information. Okay, Guys, okay, hello. I'm audible to everyone, guys. Hello. Okay, okay, so really sorry. I think some serious like issue with my system. I try to fix it. Okay, so I think, guys, we discussed till the model view, and yeah, I have shown you guys that. Okay, so if there's a common column in there's a common column across all the tables, then we don't need to think more about the connection. Then these tables will automatically get connected. Okay, then we just have one more table over here, which is this along with this date table, and this is the only table which is not get directly connected with any of this column, or the most important, guys, with the transaction one, because this particular table, guys, is don't have that let's say the common column. Okay, now, guys, still we can try to connect this date table with this transaction column through the invoice date, but this we'll try to do it later on after doing one or two operations with that invoice date column. Okay, now, guys, going forward with our report. Okay, now, guys, we all know that it is really important to go through our data set and to understand if there is any a problem, or if there is any discrepancy with the data set, any inappropriate value, or if there is any inappropriate data type. We definitely need to fix it first. Okay, but, guys, in this report, since I'm going to again guys, this report is going to be a bit larger, and I definitely contain a lot of valuable insights, and definitely coming from the real world like a scenario. And one thing, guys, which probably we didn't discuss with earlier with any of the different let's say the data set or anything. So even that is what, guys, I'm going to discuss along with this data set. So what we can do, guys, over here, you can see that in our report page, always you see, guys, that there's a after some small height, there's some like a dotted lines over there, and you have, guys, only this much of space through the width, and let's say through your height. Okay, now, guys, we already know that whatever the things we are going to create over here, we can definitely anytime try to export all these charts or the visuals, the tables, the formulas onto the a PDF file, into the PDF file, or into the PPT file. Let's say the way we want. Okay, so whatever the way we want, we can even try to export it. Okay, now, definitely, guys, over here we have this visualization pane, and we have this data pane, and to take care of this thing, we try to limit this height and width over here. Okay, but let's say when we know that, we can even try to export it into some other format. So if you want, guys, you can see that how much space we have. So if I want to go if I want to push this width to maybe towards right, or if I wish to push this height. So both the things, guys, we can actually do over here. Now, for that, in order to perform that, in order to increase the width, or in order to increase the height, or even, guys, this entire pane, you can see, guys, that whatever the charts we have created so far, we try to create on a blank report page, let's say without having any background. But you know, guys, that all these backgrounds are actually possible. Okay, so let's say if I want to add it before start creating anything in today's session, if I want to create it, so you can see, guys, that there's an option of format your report page. You can click on it, and you can see, guys, that this particular a format actually contains all the information about your about this particular canvas. Okay, which actually contains all the setting regarding to this canvas. Like if I want to fix the canvas setting, let's say right now, guys, it is 16 cross 9. Okay, if I want to fix it, and if I want to take a bit of more width and bit of more height, what I will do, I will change it to the custom, and then you can see, guys, that there's a width which is 1280 pixel, which is a fixed width. If I want to make it, let's say 1300, yes, we can make it. Similarly, guys, the width is like 720 pixel right now. If I want to make it, let's say 800, so yes, we can make it. Okay. So it's up to you, guys, whatever the width and height you want to take based on your interface. you can check it and you can actually assign it. Then guys, again, if there's any alignment, if you want to change, you can actually explore it, guys. Okay, if you want to explore it, you can definitely try to explore it. You can change it. The next thing, guys, which you can try to add it over here is there is a canvas background, and you can see, guys, that you even have the option if you want to add some image or if you want to add some photo. Okay, so let's say, guys, if I'm working for any like a GT also, so GT, let's say, having that standard background, so GT can share that with me and I can try to use it over here. Similarly, if I'm working for PPDC, so PPDC can share its logo, the background, and I can like use it over here. So similarly, guys, like let's say if you're working for any organization and if you want to use its logo background, you can actually use it. But let's say right now, if you don't have anything, so if you want to just change it, let's say make it some color or something, or if you want to make it more like a beautiful, so you can actually think of, guys, any color. If you think of let's say blue, black, whatever you think that looks more professional, you can actually use it. Okay, so I always feel, guys, that these top on the top, guys, whatever these very like a less brightening color are there, these are more professional ones. So yes, if you want to choose any one of like these top, you can actually choose it. Okay, so I will choose, let's say, this one, and I feel that it is bit good. I can make the transparency, let's say, 0 or close to like 10, and this color will appear. Okay, so let me just change it to something else, or see with this. I think, guys, all these are like a good. Okay, even this gray one is also looks like fine. Yeah, so yeah, a bit of like a bit of darker or less darker, we can actually select from the top. Okay. So I guess this is like fine. You can just try to make it according to you. And then, guys, these are multiple options we have. If you want to add some wallpaper or some filter paint, anything, guys, if you want to add it, all these options, guys, are available for you. Okay. So now, guys, this is one more formatting, guys. So till now you have done the formatting with the whatever the charts you have created. But yeah, guys, there's a formatting which is possible, guys, with this report page, means the main page which you are going to share with your client. Okay, is it clear, guys? I think there's no problem or any to understand like this formatting. I think this is a bit easier, whatever we have done so far. Yeah. Fine. So now, guys, we can look out our data set. So there are four tables. As I told you, guys, the most important one is going to be the transaction table. So I will simply click on the transaction table and trying to check that what are the columns we have. And if all these columns, guys, over here are actually the columns given in a proper format. Okay. So guys, you can see that when you look at the column like the invoice date, so you always have a doubt that whether this invoice date is present in a proper format or not. You can click on it and you can just check it. So invoice date, guys, you can see that it is not given in a kind of format which should be there, because like it is actually coming, guys, as 46131, and you can check into your case, because I guess the file which I have given to you over there, it is it looks it looks good, but you can just try to confirm that whether you are also getting the same like a thing over there. Yeah, guys, can you please confirm me that? Okay, then it is fine. Then it's made it means that we have to do let's say the similar task. Okay, for this. Now, guys, right now, then we have the customer ID over here, we have the product ID over here, we have the category, quantity, and all. Then, guys, the important column over here are they definitely going to be the unit price. So, let's say any customer buys something from the sports category and he buys just one item. So the price for that one item is 1453.8. That's the unit price. There's no discount given, so ultimately, guys, if discount is not given, so ultimately the total cells are going to be the same, which is there for one let's say unit. Okay, 1453.8. Then guys, if I talk about the another like a customer, now this customer has buy something again from the sports category, but he buy let's say in the quantity of 8. So since guys it is a quantity of 8 and unit price guys means the price of one item is 583.94. So 583.94 should be multiplied with 8 and then it gives you the total sales of 4671.42. Okay. So in a similar way, guys, you can see that this calculation, this multiplication actually gives you the total sales over here. Okay. Then guys, you have the sales of channel, payment method and so on. So guys, I will again start with a very basic and now guys, you will help me to understand what are I will take guys a bit of questions on like on the very first hand. So you guys actually help me to start creating this like a report over here. So yeah guys, I think whatever the information we have right now, I'm not asking guys any advanced question to you. I'm just asking that whatever the information we have right now throughout this all the tables, those four or five cards we can create or we can try to develop over here on the very first page, which gives let's say a bit of summary about this data set to my client. Yeah, guys, what are those four or five like a cards we can create over here on the very first pen, on the very first like a place? That's what guys I want to understand from your end. You can take like let's say one from all the tables and tell me. Guys, at least four or five definitely we require on the very first plate, which can be shared with my client. I'm asking Alicia, the basic one, the first four, the very first four information or five information from, let's say, from including all the tables. Okay, right now, no analysis, nothing we want to do. We just want to give a quick summary, a very quick summary from the entire table, from, let's say, one from each table to my client. Which product is doing good, which product is doing bad, not right now. Yeah guys, yeah, correct, Mayuri. A total sales Gergate. Okay, what can be the next? Okay, so the very first thing which can share that total revenue, whatever the total revenue you have done so far, that's great. That's the very first thing we can share. Second, what could be the next, guys? Guys, what could be the next? The first one is, yeah, total revenue, total sales. That's perfect. What can be the next? Total number of customer. Great, great, Vaishali. Total number of customers. Okay. So these are the important summary, guys. These are the important like aspect which the customer need to know on the very first hand. Correct. Total revenue, total customers. Next. So if I bring the card over here and if I just try to start with the information. So definitely guys, no need of filter over here. Now definitely guys, the very first information to start over here is going to be total sales or the total revenue as Vaishali as I think Mayuri mentioned. Okay, so the total sales guys will come from this transaction table. So you can see that the total sales column we have. Now again, over here we don't need to like create that like a column over here, but yeah, for a better information, if you even want to create it, because there's all the tables are interconnected, so no issue. You can try to create that measure anywhere. So you can see that if I try to connect it over here, total, let's say the revenue. Now over here, guys, it is going to be the sum of we can take so you can see guys that it is giving me all the table option. Okay, so definitely guys, since all the tables are connected, so it gives you all the table option over here. Now we'll go into the transaction table and take the total sales and just take the sum of it. Okay, now this gives me the two. There's a spelling mistake in total revenue. Let me just correct it. So over here I can write it as total. Okay. Now again press enter and there's a total revenue column. Now similarly guys, the next measure which we want is as again suggested from Vaishali, it is going to be a total customers. I will click again onto the new measure and this time I will write total, let's say customers. Total customers. Now into total customer guys. Now guys, total customer, how you can count the total customer, because if you take the count, it might be possibility that guys that definitely the customers are actually repeated. So in this case, guys, because we don't want to get that repeated count, I will take the distinct count function over here. Now, distinct count, guys, is actually for taking the let's say the unique count of the customers. Okay, so unique count, guys, in order to get the unique count of the customer, I think, guys, even if you take the count and take the customer ID, then also it comes. And if I have a transaction table, so I can take the unique count of the invoice ID. Now, this also gives you guys the sorry, I think customer ID we have into over here. Yeah. So a customer ID, and this gives me guys the unique number of customers over here. Similarly, guys, there will be a next measure we can try to create. And right now, guys, I'm not asking that any new like a column which can be created. Over here, the new measure, guys, which I can create is total number of orders. Now for this total number of orders, guys, we can actually go into the distinct count again and we'll take the count of invoice ID. Okay, so distinct count of invoice ID. Okay, because guys, definitely there are the orders can be repeated. So we'll take the distinct count over here, not just the count. Okay. Now finally, guys, one last maybe we can take over here is okay. So we got the total total orders as well. One more, guys, we can take is, let's say, the average order value. Let me make it like this. And this can be, guys, the average order value can be nothing but we probably need a divide function over here. We can divide, guys, the total revenue by total order. Okay. So this gives you guys the total okay. This gives you guys the average order value, means average sale or average value per order. Okay. This is again, guys, one important aspect we have, and we can also add, guys, the total quantity. Okay, means the total number of products we have sold so far. So for total quantity, guys, I don't need to create a new measure. I will take it directly from there itself. Now, guys, over here, the cards can be prepared. So, guys, the funda over here, the first card needs to be prepared and formatted. And then the other cards, for the other cards, we can copy the same formatting. Okay. Now, guys, here we got the total revenue. So the total revenue is coming out to be, let's say, 74.32 billion, which is great. If I talk about in numbers, next, then next, then next, and let's say next. Okay, guys, again, if there's any space left, it is fine. We can try to include like a more KPIs later on after doing some calculations. Okay. Now, guys, with this, with the first one, it is total revenue. The second one, guys, which we want to include is let's say total number of orders. So these are the unique order, guys. It means that total 20,000 orders has been placed or has been made so far. The third one is, let's say I want to know the total unique number of customer, guys. So you can see that the particular organization or the particular retail industry is able to acquire 2,000 customers so far. Going forward, guys, then we have the next thing, which is the average order value, means per order, what is the average sell. So it is 3.72 thousand. And finally, guys, one last, which I told you that we can probably take the sum of quantity. Okay. So in total, guys, 110 means 110,000 product has been sold so far. Okay. Now, guys, I hope that there's no problem assigning different values into these cards. Is there any doubt, guys, still here to anyone? Please let me know, guys. Is there any question or any doubts? Anything, guys, which you guys are not able to prepare like so far? Yeah, guys. Yeah, guys, is it prepared? All the all the five cards, all the five cards, all the five cards are done, guys. Okay, guys. Now let's do the formatting for the first card, and then we'll move ahead. So for the first card, guys, again, we know that what are all the formattings are required over here. So we'll first try to add the title. We'll write it as total, let's say the revenue. We'll change the color to, let's say, a bit of maybe I can say purple. Make it bold so that it should be visible and bring it in the middle. Now, this is about the total revenue. The effects can be added as well. So the border, as we have done earlier, the shadow, and the shadow will be of same color, which is our text color, and the border again of the same color. And we can try to add the rounded corner of 8 pixel with the width of 3. Let's see. Yeah, this looks good. Similarly, into the formatting, there are two more things. So we don't want that value over there. So let me, I think it will come from the label, yeah. And then this could be, I think the black over there is good. We can just try to make it a bit bold and bring it into the middle of, into the center. I think one more thing, guys, which I'm adding in the previous one, which looks good. Yeah, this one. So this again, guys, can be of same color. So everything, guys, will looks pretty much similar. Okay. So I think, yeah, 5 pixel with width is a bit good. Anything else? I don't think that it is required really. Okay, I think yeah, this makes the things bit boring. Okay, I think this is fine. And the same thing now, guys, I can try to copy throughout the all the charts. So the third, the fourth, and then fifth. Only one thing, guys, need to be changed in all these like a charts, which is going to be the title of these charts. So I think the second one is nothing but the total orders. The third one is nothing but the total customers. The fourth one is nothing but average order value. And the fifth one is nothing but the total quantity. So yeah, guys, I think now this looks perfect inside, in color, in formatting, and in like with the background. Now going for going forward, guys, let's try to go ahead and let me, guys, tell you like how we can calculate the concept which I discussed, guys, in the very start of the session for customer segmentation. Okay, I hope, guys, that this is done for everyone. You can do the formatting by your own and choose your color, the color of your choice accordingly. Okay. Now, going forward, guys, the next important thing, which I told you that about the customer segmentation, that is the RFM. Okay, so recency, frequency, and monetary. Now, guys, first tell me that let's say for any customer, let's say if I just try to make two groups. Okay, for a time being, guys, no, I'm not. We are not trying to. Let's say I'm not trying to go more deeper and trying to create, let's say, 4, 5 different groups of customer for of time being, guys, let's say that they are just two groups. One group, let's say for me, because let's say if I'm running a retail industry, so I definitely want the customer to be more loyal. I definitely want the customer to be more premium. I definitely want the customer to be, let's say, more recent. Okay. Now, in that case, guys, let's say that if I'm calculating the RFM score, and if I am dividing the customer only in two groups, okay, I'm asking a very simple question, guys, over here. Let me open a let's say some notepad or something over here to make you explain this thing in a very easier way, so that you guys can understand that how we can actually create this RFM like a score, or how we can actually segment, or how we can create maybe a different clusters based on this particular idea called RFM score. Now, guys, I talk about the RFM score, and I told you, guys, the R over here stands for, let's say, the recency. Then I told you that F over here is actually stands for the frequency, and let's say M over here is actually stand for monetary. Okay, this is what, guys, we actually discuss. Now, let's say, guys, that ultimately, let's assume that there will be two groups. Okay, two broader groups. Okay, definitely, they are not just two groups we are going to create. We are going to create more groups. That, but for a timing, let's assume that there are two more broader groups. One is, I can say, the good customers, and another is, let's say, the bad customer in terms of, guys, their purchasing behavior. And definitely, guys, if I'm running this particular retail industry, then we know that who can be a good one for me and who will be the, let's say, the bad one. Okay. Now, guys, for a good customers, okay. Now, let's say if I just try to create the category of good customers over here, okay. Now, tell me, guys, what should be the property of good customer? Okay, so let's say if I talk about a recency, okay. Now, what should the recency value, guys? Okay, if I'm simply asking a question, just in terms of low and high, okay. So tell me, guys, what should be the recency value? Whether it should be low or whether it should be high? Yeah, guys. If I talk about let's say a good customer, and good customer according to definitely my requirement, I'm asking about a good customer. Now, what do you think that for a good customer, what should be the objective? Whether the recency is low or whether the recency is high? Recency is high. Oh, guys, how? Recency means we have. I told you that how recently the customer buys something. So if it is high, then it means that the customer buys something, let's say a year back, and you say that it is good. How, guys? Can you explain me that? It is not good at all, yeah. Let's say if I'm running a retail industry and I'm trying to make the fragment, or if I'm making that segment, so good customer is definitely the one. For me, the good customer is the one who buys something, let's say, very frequently, maybe just 2 or 3 days back. So in that case, the recency value should be very low. So if someone buy, let's say, 2 or 3 days back, then in that case, the recency score will be just 2 or 3. Okay, and for let's say for any customer, the recency value is too high. If it is let's say 325 days, or in terms of days, if it is like 60 days, then definitely guys, he or she not be a good customer. Got it my point? Yeah. So if I talk about a good customer guy, so there should be a low recency. Okay, got it? Similarly, guys, if I talk about the bad customers, so in that case, there will be a high recency. Yeah, agree? Now, guys, in a similar way, what should be the frequency? Whether it should be low or whether it should be high for good. What should be the frequency, guys? It should be low or it should be high? Correct. It should be high. Okay. So for good customer, there should be low recency and high frequency. Okay. And for bad customer, there should be alternative. So if there's a high recency, there will be low frequency. Okay. Now coming on to the last, guys. If I talk about the monetary value, now again, what should be what should be the ideal scenario for good and bad customers? Yeah, guys, what should be the ideal scenario for good and bad customers over here? So for good customer, it should be let's say mid to high. Okay, because you cannot control over the monetary value, so it should be mid to high. Okay, in terms of monetary, and over here it should be low. Okay, monetary in terms of like the amount or the sales they are giving to the industry. Okay. So now guys, this is actually the like a scenario for good and bad customer. Okay. Now guys, when I talk about the RFM score, so we are going to actually calculate this. We are going to calculate something called as a RFM score. Okay, like we are going to calculate the number of days. Okay, so in our score we are going to store let's say for customer for that how many number of days like how many the customer one actually buy something. Okay, similarly for all the customer guys, we are going to calculate that number of days, and that will be your recency score. Now let's say guys that let's see that how we can actually calculate those things over here. Now in order to calculate guys those things over here, what we need to do is we need to now go ahead and need to create this like a column, or we need to create let's say this measure called recency. Okay, so again, guys, we have to click on this new measure. We have to click on this new measure, and now I'm going to expand this size, because the earlier measures, guys, are simple. But yeah, for this, we have to expand the size, and let's try to calculate it. Now this will be calculated, guys, like this. So we have to write date, and we have to find the difference, guys. Okay, so let's say for calculating the let's say guys this well, like a recency, what we need to do is what we require. Okay, so we need to let's say guys how we can calculate this recency. So recency, guys, needs to be calculated in terms of days. Okay, now let's see that how it will be calculated. So it will be calculated like let's say I buy something. Okay, so today, guys, date is 18. Okay, now let's say guys if any retail industry is trying to find out the recency score for me. So today is 18th May. Now let's say if I buy something on 15th May. So what will be the recency score? It will be 3 days. Okay, so if I try to calculate the recency over there, so it will be 3 days, because I bought something on, or I ordered something on 15th, and today is 18th. So the gap is of 3 days. Okay, similarly, if someone buys something, let's say 18th of April, now in that case, guys, the recency will be 30. If someone buy, let's say on 18th of March, then the recency will be 60. Okay, so that's how, guys, the recency will be calculated. So recency will be nothing but it is actually the difference, guys. The today date means the current date, and then the previous date on which you buy something, or the previous date on which you order something. Okay, so guys, over here we have to find out the date difference. Okay, so this is a function, guys. You can see date diff. So date diff means you are finding you want to find out the difference between the 2 days. Now what are those 2 days? So the 2 days are nothing but we are going to take today date, or we are going to take, guys, let's say the date on which the customer buys something. So definitely, guys, a customer can make a multiple orders. Okay, so I want to for any customer, guys, I want to see the maximum date. Okay, maximum date means the most recent date on which the customer make any order. Okay, so I'm going to use, guys, the function over here called max, and I'm going to apply it on to the invoice date. Okay, so I'm going to apply this onto the invoice date. Now, guys, I'm not probably getting the invoice date over here. Let me check. I think into the transaction. Yeah, invoice date is there. Yeah, so I can apply it on the invoice date. I can close the bracket. Now this is my date one. Now what is the second date, guys? So the second date is going to be today date. So I'm going to use today. So today is a function, guys, we can actually use. And now I want to calculate the difference between these two. And this difference, guys, I want to calculate in terms of days. So I will write it as day. Okay, so day means you want to calculate this interval in terms of days. Okay, if you want to calculate in terms of month, you will write month over there. Now this is how, guys, we actually calculate the recency. Okay, now if I press enter, you'll see, guys, that recency is calculated over here. Now this particular thing will actually have the recency over here. Okay, but I guess that I made a mistake over here. Can anyone help me with that understanding what maybe the mistake I made over here? Yeah, guys, anyone can actually help me what maybe the mistake I made over here, not in terms of formula, but in terms of logic, I guess. Yeah, guys, anyone who can actually figure out that mistake which I probably made over here? Yeah, let me tell you, guys, that that mistake is nothing but MOD. What means what, Alicia? What is that MOD? Okay, so let me tell you, guys, I think that recency we are calculating, and even if I try to take it into the ignore negative values, I don't know. So where is the negative values over here? So if I even try to take it into, let's say, some table, if I just try to copy it and try to bring the recency over here, then we'll get some recency value. It is coming out to be 0 over here. Definitely, it is not calculating anything. Now, there are two things, guys, which I think I'm mistaking over here. Okay. The first thing is that recency should be calculated for each customer. Okay. Because we have to check for each customer what is maybe their recency score, whether they are doing good or whether they are not doing good at all. Okay. So I guess that this recency should be checked for each customer, the very first thing. The second important thing, guys, which probably missing over here, and you can see that even the value coming out to be 0, because definitely in terms of like customer, it is not taking for any customer over here. So this column needs to be added. The very first thing, I guess, that this column needs to be added into this transaction. Let us just confirm this into new column. Now let's see that I'm just checking if there's still some issue. So again, if I use this function date diff, okay, yeah. Now the date one, let's say this calculation is not a mistake at all. I can take this transactions and take the invoice date over there, max of the transaction date. This is my date 1. Then today, this is my date 2. Close the bracket. And then J, I think all these suggestions are already coming up. Now let's say if I try to add it, let's see that whether this is okay. You can see that we are not getting any output. Okay, I got the reason, guys. I think you can see that our invoice date is actually not in the correct format. Okay, so that's a problem we are getting it over here, that the invoice date over here is actually coming as a whole number. That's what, guys, I think we observed earlier, and I told you that we'll come over here and try to check it. Again, guys, because like let's say with other columns it doesn't require, but definitely, guys, for the recency it is required. So we have to check, guys, what we can do, because this column definitely needs to be converted into the date format. Otherwise, the calculation will not take place. And I think, guys, in the reality, in the real world also, it is into the date format. So now, guys, I have converted it into the date format, and for that I didn't take any major space over there. Set the date type to make sure the data of this field is stored, calculated, and visualized properly. Refresh now. Let's see. And for a time being, let's remove this column from here. Uh, okay, delete this column from the table, and let me check whether this actually take place properly or not. Uh, I don't see any different format. Let 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 me try to create the column again. So new column. Now this time, if I try to create the recency, again, if I try to take their div, date 1 is again going to be the same, max of transaction, and we'll take that invoice date, close the bracket, then we'll compare it with the today, and then just date. Now close the bracket, let's run it again, and now let's see the output. Oh, still 0. How is that possible? Let's say 19th April 2026. So ideally the value should be maybe 30 or 29 over here. But this is not happening. We are getting 0 into the output. Now it is a bit difficult to understand. I think now the problem is fixed. We got the invoice date into the correct format. And I hope, guys, that you also done that, because we didn't. Because let's say, guys, if just by clicking on the date, if it is not changed, then we need to think of like, okay, what maybe we can do in order to convert them into the date column. But now it is already converted, and still we are getting an issue. So what can be the reason for it? I think for comparison, we cannot go into the new date table which is created. We should stay with the same invoice date column. And I cannot see that anywhere the formatting is different. I think the formatting is DMY itself. Okay, guys, let us try to just reconfirm it to the uh, Power Query editor if there is any problem with this column. So you can go on to the we can go on to the transform data, and we can just try to check that if there is any like a problem with that column. Invoice date, still it is coming as 1, 2, 3. Let me just change it to the date. Let's see. The selected column has an existing type version conversion. Uh, so is it not happened or what? Current to replace. Okay. So now we have this data type, and there is no empty and there is no error as well. Now let me just close and apply from here. Okay, let's see again. Fine. Now go into the table view. Okay, this is still this recency is not coming properly. So uh, 1 second. Okay, now let me check it again. So this is updated, but still the output is 0. What does it means? And it is 0 throughout the entire row. Yeah, guys, someone need to take customer ID or invoice. Why we need to take the customer ID and invoice number, Alicia? Okay. Uh, Not, I think the new column, maybe customer ID can be taken. Invoice number is not required. But the invoice number is for calculating the frequency of the order. So in order to calculate the frequency, we'll take the invoice ID, which is there. Invoice number is not there. ID is there. Whose last and previous dates we are checking. So yeah, that's invoice ID is not required. The customer ID we can think of, but again, it is I think the normal recency is coming out to be over here. Uh, okay, so let me just check it, guys, once. Just give me 2 minutes. I think that we have. Uh, Let me just check it over here into my panel. Into the Excel, I can probably try to figure it out into the Excel itself. Okay, guys, anyone getting any objective? Okay, so I think the only thing which maybe like suggested from Alicia is but invoice ID is not but we can I think need to do the group by over here, and we need to calculate it on the customer like end. But again, I think easiest way I'm just trying to find out over here. But I think whatever the formula, guys, we have used in the very first session in order to do some calculation over there, that kind of a calculation we require, because in terms of like if I trying to calculate the recency in this way, so 20,000 values will come up. But I guess that we have to calculate it on every customer's end. for each customer, maybe what is their recency. So think we need to create a new variable over here, just like we have created maybe in the first like the session, variable with the name war. And I can try to calculate, guys, the let's say I can try to store, I can create a variable, let's say the last purchase date. Now this is bit tricky over here. So last purchase date for each customer, and over here I can try to calculate. Uh, I can use the function called calculate to calculate the last purchase date. So last purchase date, guys, I think it is same. That is the maximum of the invoice date. So max of again the invoice date we have to take, and over here we have to consider the customer actually. So max of invoice date, and for what now over here, guys, I think we have to accept the transaction. And this is the table, guys, we are giving over here. And I think that then we have transaction again, and now this is where I have to consider the customer ID. Close it, close it. Okay, so recency, last purchase date will be the max of like the invoice date, and max of invoice date of whom, that is like based on the customer ID we are going to consider. Okay, then now guys, this last purchase date is going to be my date one, and let's say today is going to be my date two. Okay, so now we are going to return, and we are going to calculate, let's say date diff means date difference. Now my date one is going to be the last purchase date, the recent column which we have created over here, and then comma, we have to difference it from the today, and the output we want in terms of day. Now let's create it. Let's see if now we are getting some output. Yeah, and it is correct, guys. Okay, so you can see that for this customer, the last purchase date is I think 19th April 2026. If you try to calculate it, today is 18th May 2025. So yeah, the gap is of 19 days. Now the second customer, guys, we have 3 April 2020 like a 5. But definitely, guys, this customer definitely made some purchase in a recent time. Okay, so definitely because of that, it is coming 15 days. It means that this particular customer makes some purchase on 3rd May itself. Okay, so customer ID with C0 1001. Okay, because one customer can make multiple orders. Okay, so yeah, guys, I think now we are getting some number of days over here. Okay. So yeah, great point, Alicia. Thank you so much. I think yeah, we are actually like avoiding or ignoring this customer ID over there, since we have to calculate it for each customer. So it should be like it should be we should consider the customer ID. Okay, so yeah, guys, this is how we can calculate the recency. Calculating the recent purchase means from based on your last purchase date, and then you are comparing with the today's date. Okay, so what is that difference? Okay, that is what we are calculating over here. So do it, guys. Let me know once this is completed. Then we'll move on to the next one. That is uh, frequency. Yeah, guys, this is John. Yeah, guys, is it done for everyone? Okay, great. Now, guys, the next we can calculate in a similar way. That is, one is going to be the frequency, and the another one is going to be the monetary. Okay, now we can try to calculate the frequency over here. Now, for the frequency, guys, it is going to be a distinct count, and we'll take the again a transaction, and let's say the invoice ID. Now, second, let's see. Okay, we again did the string count total. Okay, so we are fine. So the string count we are doing it over here, but again the same problem that it is this is again not with the customer ID. So uh, what we again I think mhm, okay. Okay, so transactions. Because over here, guys, we cannot simply check it in a similar way. So transaction and group by which column? I think group by customer ID I want to talk about. And now after doing this, uh, I want to group by based on the customer ID, and then I want let's see the case. I think we have already created it now, so we can do take it directly from there. It is, I think that column which we have created, that is total order. So where is it? Total order which we have created, total, or with which name we have created, if not the total order. Let's see. I think So this function, guys, we can actually use to summarize, let's say, any data group by with respect to any category. I think we have created total orders over here. Yeah, that is not coming as total orders. So total. Uh, Second, let's then try to run like that. Second, now this will come. Now let me close this. Let's see. Okay, now this is fine. So summarize transaction group by customer ID. We are calculating the frequency over here, and it should be the distinct count of the invoice ID. So what's the issue now? Uh, so frequency, let's say if it is same, maybe if this is a problem, so let's change it to break. So now we are getting some output. Okay, what is happening over here today? We wanted the frequency. Okay, where it has gone. Okay, now what can be missing over here? Can anyone check it out? I think with respect to okay, this check it out, guys. Okay, I think we are getting it in a completely wrong way. Okay, so I want to, let's say, get the invoice ID, and then we want to, let's say, bring it on to the, uh, okay, fine, tick, tick. Okay. So let me try to take guys the another approach over here. Let me try to use my previous function, which is calculate. This also can be utilized for filter out the data. Now, again, this can be utilized for filter out particular customer. So what we can do, we can try to take the invoice ID, the distinct count of this, and then I want to filter out. We can use the proper function, the filter over here. I can pass the whole transaction table. And from the transaction table, I want to use the customer ID, which is see whether this is working. Okay, so let's say the Mhm. Yeah, I guess guys that there is I think it should not be okay, but I think these columns like I think the recency, frequency or monetary thing this will not be developed without maybe creating one new table over here. So I guess that uh, we actually require, let's say, to create a complete new table over here because I think is that let's say I have extracted one value, but when I want, let's say, the another value, then again this problem is coming. And every time, guys, coming with a new formula, it is fine that we have the AI tool. We can try to use that like Gemini or anything, and then try to get out something. But again, guys, those tools, guys, will give maybe some complex formula which is difficult to understand and analyze. I think the better approach, guys, over here, which I can probably take, is probably create a complete new table, and then from that new table, probably we can try to calculate these remaining values. Okay, so let us just try once like that as well. So for that, guys, inside your transaction itself, what I can do, I can simply try to just bring out a new table over here. Okay, 1 second. If there's a option we have of creating a complete new table, the copy table, new column, new measure. Okay, I think over here we have that option of new table. Nikhil, all expect you can use, guys, you can check it out, but I don't think that all these things will work now. Let us try once since we have used this earlier. So we can try it out. Maybe if it works, then it is fine. Uh, let's see if it works. No, it is not working. And good, guys, it's good to see that. Okay, yeah, all expect. Okay, great here, Nikhil. I think it is working. I think it takes some time, but yeah, completely different values you are getting. Okay, great. Thank you so much. I guess it's good, guys. It's good to see that you guys are deeply involved in all this calculation. I hope that yeah, it's great. I think in a similar way, then I'm just trying to find a new way why I'm not. I don't know that why I'm trying like so many permutation combination, but great to see, guys, that yeah, we are getting that output. Thank you, Nikhil. Thanks a lot. In a similar way, I think now we can calculate the monetary because so now I'm not waste like much of time because I think that we don't have though. I will create that new column over here. I just replace it to the monetary and just copy and paste the same code. I think over here, instead of the transaction taking the invoice ID, we require that total sales over here. And instead of taking the sum of distinct count, we require to take the sum of it. Yeah, let's do it. Great. Okay, so this is done, guys. So we got all the three values over here, the recency, frequency, and monetary. Now, guys, over here we need to do the grouping because definitely, guys, let's say for we want guys the RFM score over here, guys. Now let me tell you guys that how you can calculate it. Okay, so what we need to do is based on the percentile, guys. Okay, you can actually differentiate it based on the percentile. Okay, so like over here, you can try to see that what may be the highest value in the recency, what may be the highest value in the frequency, and what may be the highest value in the monetary. Okay, so like in the recency, if you look at the data, you can see that we have a zero also, and we have like 483. Let's say let's assume it as a 500. Now, guys, what does it mean? So, what you can do over here, you can try to create that percentiles in a group. So, first, guys, you have to calculate separately the recency score, the frequency score, and the monetary score. Okay. Instead of, guys, because we cannot just take like guys any single score in order to calculate the total RFM value. So recency, guys, over here we first need to create a group. Okay, so let me show you once for one, and you can try to create for the frequency and the other by yourself. So let's say if I try to create it for recency. Okay, so let me show you. If I want to create it for recency, okay, so over here, guys, what we can do, we can try to check. We can try to just make a category over here. Let's say if someone is, if someone using, if someone buys something, let's say less than or equals to 30 days, we can simply try to group them in a fifth category, then four, then three, then two, then one. Okay, or you can even take it in opposite order. So it's up to you. Like because guys. In a recency, it maybe if you're taking from bottom to top, then in a frequency, guys, it should be top to bottom. Okay, so let's say if in a recency you are rating down like this, that one means very good. Okay, two means let's say good, three means let's say average, four means poor, and five means very poor. Okay, let's say if you're categorizing like this, then in frequency it will be completely opposite, and same in a monetary. So in a monetary also it will be completely opposite. So that's the reason, guys. In a recency, I told you that you can go like this. That one means very poor. Two means let's say poor. Three means average. Four means what I can say. Sorry. Yeah. So four means let's say good, and five means let's say very good. Okay. So let's say, guys, if I just show you one, like how you can do that. So you can try to create your switch expression over here. Make it true over here, and then let's say you can try to create a multiple categories. So let's say I can try to check for recency, and if the recency value is less than equals to 30, I think that it's a good one. So I will make it as 5. So then similarly, guys, the next time if the recency is again less than or equals to, let's say, 60, I will mark it as 4. Next time, guys, if the recency is less than or equals to again some value, let's say 90, I will mark it as 3. Okay. Then similarly, guys, if it is let's say recency value is less than or equals to 120, then I will mark it as let's say 2. Okay, and you can even take, guys, a larger value over there, or otherwise I will mark it as 1. So even I can take it like just let's say 180. Okay, so you can divide it. Okay, you can divide it based on like you thinking, because you can see, guys, that over here the maximum days even can be it may be, guys, even one let's say 500. Okay, so it is fine. You can just try to think of think about yourself. So yeah, guys, now you can see that this numbering over here, guys, is in this 5 4 3 2 1. Okay, so over here, guys, 5 means good. Okay, because 5 means the recency value is low. Now, guys, if you are creating the same thing for a frequency, so in frequency should go in opposite order. Okay, it means, guys, that for frequency greater than equals to 20, you have to take 5. And let's say if the frequency is less than equals to 5 or 10, then you have to consider it as good. Okay, so it should go in that order. It should go in opposite order for frequency, and the same, guys, should be for the monetary one. Okay, now, guys, there are two things which you can do, which I leave it up to you. So right now, guys, I have shown you this in terms of in order of just assigning the value by yourself. Okay, so you try to predefine these values over here. Okay, but again, guys, it is possible that, let's say, for recency and frequency we can assume these values, let's say, from smaller to greater. That is fine. but monetary value, guys, can be very high and can be low as possible. So it is good practice, guys, to break it in terms of on the basis of percentiles instead of breaking it on the base on your like own belief. Okay. So guys, you can search for it. Okay. So this is again one assignment, or you can take it as a task for you. You can search for it. There's a percentile function. So you can try to break it even in terms of percentile. Okay. So so you can try to break it into 4 quartiles. So quartile means when you break your entire data into 4 equal parts. Okay. So instead of like 5 groups, there will be 4 groups then. So 4, 3, 2, 1. So in that way also, guys, you can try to actually create the groups over there. Okay. So for a time being, guys, your task is to only just like I have calculated the recency score. You can try to calculate in a similar way. You have to calculate it for frequency, and then you have to calculate it for let's say monetary. Okay, and then we'll try to like develop that RFM, and based on that we'll try to think that what is the best segment, what may be the worst segment, and what may be the middle segment. Okay. Means the best group, the worst group, and then the average group. Got it, guys? Yeah. So I hope, guys, still here everyone is able to prepare. Now just try to think from your end how to break it with the percentiles, and you can even try you can first try to create like this, and then you can think of percentile. You can search for like how we can break it with the help of that percentile function. Okay. Guys, this is going to be really interesting, like a project if you're able, if we are able to create till the end. Okay. I know that today is a bit of hurdles in between. First with my laptop, then with the formula, but yeah, guys, we'll make sure that in the next session it will not happen, and we are able to complete this project with ease. Any question, guys, before wrapping up the session? Yeah, guys. Alicia, Nikhil, any question, guys, before wrapping up the session? Okay, then thank you so much, guys. Thanks a lot for today cooperation. Thank you, guys. Have a good day. Good night. Bye bye.